again, it's the end of November, so time to talk about the 5 books that I read in the second half of the month. Slightly disappointing because not one of them was a 5-star. One was very close, but the 5 stars came at the beginning of the month. So the first one I read this second half was Are You Happy Now by Hanna Jameson. And this was a NetGalley arc that comes out on the 2nd of February next year. I was slightly disappointed with this one because when I read the blurb, it looked as though it was going to be a dystopian one, and I love my dystopians. But it wasn't really. It was all to do with sort of a pandemic, but was it really a pandemic? It started off with a wedding, and at one point in this wedding, one of the guests sat down and refused to get up. Vacant stare, aggressive if anyone tried to get her to her feet, and that was it. She almost gave up. And this went on all through the country, all through the world. People were just sitting down and giving up. And there was no explanation as to why. The story focused not so much on this event that was happening, but on 2 couples. There was Yoon and Emery and Andrew and Finn. And they all came together. They all met for the first time at this wedding. And you sort of tracked their relationships and how they were dealing with the world that it was. I didn't really engage with the characters. Maybe it was an age thing because they were all, apart from Andrew, all in their early 20s. And it wasn't the dystopian that I was expecting, because whatever this thing was, it was there, then it wasn't, and there was never any explanation as to why. So that was the first one. The second one was another NetGalley arc, and it, again, 2nd of February next year. And this was for young adults. So it's one of the Barrington Stoke imprints. Now, when I was teaching, I was used to, with my lower groups, we used to read Barrington Stokes because for teenagers, they were teenage stories, but written in a way that was accessible for reluctant readers, for those who found reading difficult. And this was a ghost story. And we had a narrator, James, who was on holiday with his parents and elder brother. They'd gone to Yorkshire to scatter Granny's ashes because Granny came from that part of Yorkshire. His father had done lots of family research, and James met a ghost. And this ghost revealed a tragic secret. A super story, that one was. The next one was, at a push, I could say it was a 5-star. It just held off of being a 5-star. I'm not quite sure why. I don't know, but it wasn't quite the 5-star that I was hoping. It was a smidgeny close. And it was The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. And this comes out in February next year, the 16th. And this is an adult fairy tale full of obsession and romance. It's gothic, it's lyrical. It's almost like an adult fairy tale. You've got a bridegroom falling in love with this heiress. He marries her on the condition that he is not to pry into any of her secrets. But when they end up going back to her family home, he cannot resist. You've got his point of view, and then you've got the point of view of her childhood friend. So you've got his point of view in the present and the childhood friend recounting the tale from the sort of as the girls grew up. Magical. You've got a weaving of fantasy and reality. It was so close to a 5-star for me. I really did like that one. Then I did a couple of audiobooks. I've never delved into audiobooks before, but I did this time. And this is The Death of Vivek Oji was the first one, and it was by Akwaeke Emezi. And it's set in Nigeria, and it starts off with Vivek being dumped at his mother's home. His body is there. She finds his body. And it's the story of her grief and finding out how he died, why he died, who killed him, who left him at a house like a piece of rubbish. And it's the story of his friends as well, and how they cope with his grief. And secrets, because Vivek had a huge secret that he kept from his parents. His friends protected him. So that was that one. And the final one that I read this month, or listened to this month, was Camilla by Sheridan Lafano. And this was a gothic vampire tale written before Dracula. It was written 25 years before Dracula, and this time we've got a female vampire. And it's very different vibes to the Dracula of Bram Stoker. There's it's almost like a sensuousness to the writing. You've got the gothic settings, you've got the grey derelict castles, grey skies, gloomy atmosphere, pale young ladies, and of course this female vampire. A lovely gory conclusion on that one. So those were the 5 that I read this second half of the month. As I said, there's no 5 stars in this one, in this half. My 5 stars came in the first half of the month, and my book of the month, I think I'm going to go with the very first book I read in November, and it was The Silence Project by Carol Haley, which was a tale of a young girl finding out more about her mother, because the book starts with her mother setting herself alight. So those were my 5 books of the second half of the month. That is my book of the month. So I will see you in December. See how many I get read when I'm busy Christmas shopping and everything else like that. So I will see you sometime in December for my mid-month wrap up. See how we're going. See how many presents I've got wrapped, how many mince pies I've eaten, and I'll catch you later. So happy reading. Take care. Bye.